Hello everyone, my name is Brita Fletcher and I teach Advanced English 1, Advanced Floral Design and Floral Design. And I put everything in one presentation, and so if you would like to skip ahead or move around, here's our key on the bottom. So in the beginning I have some gray slides that's general information for everyone, no matter which class your child's in. Blue slides are about Advanced English 1, and then when the background changes to green, that's for floral design and advanced floral design. So to start with, here's my contact information. And email is the fastest and easiest way to reach me simply because we can't always answer the phone when we're teaching. So that cuts out a lot of the day when we could communicate. I'm happy to talk on the phone. It's just a little bit harder to do. So feel free to get in touch with me anytime you need to. And I will put this slideshow in Google Classroom. So if you need any of the links or you need to see it again, it'll be available for you. So this is my background, and as you can see, I've taught a lot of different classes. For half of my career, I was a full-time agriculture teacher, and then for the second half of my career, I have also taught English. And so because I've taught so many different classes, I like to think of myself as a teacher of students more so than a specific subject. My philosophy is based on what we have here on the bottom: relationships, rigor, and relevance. I have a family, and my husband Darren and my kids Jack and Paige. And I like to say this just because I want you to know that in some ways maybe we're in the same boat. My kids are a sophomore and an eighth grader, and we're a very busy family. They do a lot of different activities. And so I understand what it's like to be on the other side, being a parent and managing homework and activities and your kids' time and work and making all of that come together. So I do try to keep that in mind as I am designing our classes. Here at Ponderosa, I'm the advisor for Ponderosa FFA Floral and for Pondo Plants. Those are the things I generally do outside of the classroom. My goals as a teacher are to make learning accessible, attainable, and rigorous all at the same time, to communicate well, to connect kids to each other, to this school and this experience, and to their teachers, including me. And then mostly to help students become self-sufficient, productive, independent thinkers and workers, because I realize they're going somewhere beyond Ponderosa High School. So we want to help them grow in those ways as people too. So I think this is maybe a big question at home in terms of homework and just organization of a class. Where is it? And so I'm using Google Classroom heavily simply because this year we will have a lot of students who are out for various reasons. And so that's a place where they can go to find everything. So I use Google Classroom more so than a website. In fact, I haven't looked at my website in a long time. So I organize Google Classroom weekly. So for example, it might be October 17th through the 24th, and I'll have the subject. We're doing introductions and business letters. We use a weekly agenda and a daily plan, and I'll show you what I mean by those. General resources are organized under another heading in Google Classroom. For example, every class has technology help, or it might be mythology unit resources. If we're in a specific unit, I try to put that all under one heading. English students have a textbook, a paper textbook, and they have access to an online textbook. Floral design students have a paper textbook also, but they're very expensive, nearly $200 a piece. And they don't really need to carry those home or have them in their locker. We do the work out of the textbook in class. If your child is ever absent and they need to check one out, of course they can. So this is what I do at the beginning of each week. I give the students this weekly agenda or weekly summary in Google Classroom, and then we look at it and read it together on Mondays. So this happens to be an English one, but floral is the same idea. On the top, we'll have the objectives. There are a lot of objectives this week because it's the end of a unit. And then I will have their classwork and their homework. So this, I hope, helps a student to manage their time, to look ahead and say, what is expected of me this week in this class, so that they can manage all their activities and their commitments in addition to this class. So that's available. And then I'm doing a daily plan, which is a slideshow of each class, because even though I can make that agenda, that doesn't mean we're actually going to accomplish those things on those days. Every class is different, things happen, and we might get off track here or there. So a student who's absent can go in and see exactly what their particular class accomplished. And there also might be some links like these within the slideshow. So they can go to one of these two places, either the slideshow or the weekly agenda to figure out hopefully what they missed. So homework and late work is a question that pops up a lot. If your child is stressed, and they're trying to throw something together at the last minute and they're just overwhelmed, chances are that was a time management issue. Because I give long due dates, it would be very rare that I would say, do this overnight and bring it back. And that, in fact, hardly works with our block schedule now anyway. But for example, if I assign a writing assignment in English, they probably have 5 to 7 days to complete it. I almost always try to give them a weekend in there to complete it. In floral design, if there's a large project that the students are working on, again, it's probably spanned quite a bit of time. I do accept late work without penalties. That's a system that I'm using this year. A child does have to complete a late form. It looks like this. And there is eventually a cutoff date before quarter and semester grades, because at some point I just have to have all the work to grade it. I'm having them do this late or revised work form because it makes them do a little bit of self-reflection and try to figure out why they are turning things in late. Is it because, and helps me to understand too, is it because they don't understand what's happening? Have they been absent? Sometimes it's hard to keep all that straight in our heads. And so this is just a method of communication, and it's a way for them to think about why are they late turning things in. One-on-one help, Fletcher Flex, we're calling it, is agriculture on Tuesdays and English on Wednesdays. And you can see what's available during those times. I am available before school, lunch, after school, but I do have a busy schedule like many of you, so we just have to make an appointment. Your child needs to talk to me and get on the calendar to make sure we're both at the same place at the same time. I also have 2 classrooms, and so it's important that we communicate. I won't just always be in my classroom. These are my general expectations for students. Be patient, be present, communicate, be respectful, and do your best. And these are also the standards that I hold myself to when working with your kids. All right, so I'll talk about Advanced English 1 specifically for a little while. I did send home the syllabus, so you should have seen it, signed it, sent it back. Your children have chosen to take the most rigorous and most demanding English class we have for freshmen. And I tell them that at the beginning of the year, and a lot of times they look shocked. Like maybe they didn't know that they were signing up for that. This requirement in the middle of the page is what will be the difference between success and struggling for most students in this class. 10 to 20 pages of required or choice reading every day of the year, including weekends and holidays. We're trying to make reading a habit within your child's life. And we have a document. Parents approve independent reading choices by signing the stamp sheet. So the reason I'm sending this stamp sheet home to you, I stamp it in class when your child has their book and is reading we usually will only read for 5 to 10 minutes when we're together. But I want to remind them of that habit. The reason I ask you to sign it twice a month is because they will have their book title appear on top. And I want this to be 3-way communication between you, the child, and me about the book they have chosen. I just want everyone to know what's happening in terms of their independent reading, the books that they choose. So you'll see that document coming home. I read also. If I ask them to do it, I need to be willing to do it. And so I read all kinds of books all the time. Assessments in this class, I try to make them as authentic as possible, meaning I am assessing your child's ability as opposed to just their willingness to do something. And so we're looking at things like projects, quizzes and tests, writing, of course, products that can be seen, Students are working to prove their knowledge and their understanding. We do use Turnitin.com for many writing assignments. It's a plagiarism program. It compares your child's writing against that of other students and against thousands of websites on the internet. So the main differences between advanced and college prep English at the freshman and sophomore level here at Ponderosa is that advanced classes move at a faster pace. Therefore, we can cover more material and do more enrichment, hopefully more fun activities that make them love English, or at least tolerate it. We do more independent reading in advanced English, and we have higher expectations for what they can do on their own, whether that's reading or writing. A student does need at least a B in Advanced English 1 at the end of the year to move on to Advanced English 2. These are some of the pieces of writing that they'll be doing, and my dog Ruby. So ways that parents can help. When you look into areas with your child, you'll see these 4 categories, and these are the categories we are assessing in an English class. Encourage your child to ask for help. If they're intimidated to come up and talk to a teacher or me in particular, they can always email, they can phone, however we can communicate. They do need a lot of help with organization and time management at this age. Here's what I've seen so far. I've seen very good writing skills in terms of content and organization. So there's a lot of talk right now about learning loss and what have we done to our students by having them in online learning during the time of COVID. And I actually have seen much better writing than I have in the last 3 to 4 years before 2020. And so that's a positive thing. Maybe that's because they had fewer activities. They could concentrate on writing. I don't know if something changed at the previous school where they were getting their education, but it's good. Technical writing and editing needs improvement, but that's very typical for this level for freshmen. And we really work on that throughout high school. Social situations, I would say, are more difficult for our children right now. I am seeing that as a difference, having worked in education for a long time. Speaking in front of groups is nerve-wracking. Many students and parents let me know that. They're doing a speaking assignment right now, which is to introduce themselves to the class, and they're getting through it. They can do it. I'll try to offer many different ways that they can develop that courage to be able to speak. That is a skill that we want them to have. And above all, I am experiencing kind, hardworking people who have big dreams and plans. So I want to thank you for that and for sending me your children. I enjoy these classes very much, and I'm available. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you need anything throughout the year or if you have any questions or concerns. On to floral design and advanced floral design. So these are agriculture classes, and your child has been in an agriculture class before because they've met the prerequisite. So classwork is still worth 80%, and you can see what might be involved there. FFA activities are worth 10%, and SAE, a supervised agriculture experience project, is worth 10%. So typically in the classroom, we will learn a subject like color theory. We might do a couple of assignments related to that, and then we will apply that principle in absolutely every floral design that we make. You cannot work with flowers and not understand color. So what that means is that in order to be successful in this hands-on class, students need to be present. If your child is missing 1 block period a week, that will greatly diminish their grade. And it means they have to find 2 hours to come back when I'm here, the supplies are here, they're here, and they can make up what they missed hands-on. So attendance is important in this class for participation. FFA activities are 3 per semester, and we have many options to fit your child's lifestyle. So even if your child is saying, I don't love the FFA, they can find leadership activities that will help them to grow as a person, and that's really what we're after. SAE, every student at this age, sophomore level and above, needs to have an ongoing SAE project, and we measure that mostly through their record book, which is online, their AET record book. We teach that in class, and will be available during flex time for them to get help. The point of an SAE project is for the students to do something related to agriculture outside of the classroom, so that they're reinforcing what they've learned in class. Again, I can work with your child to find something that fits their lifestyle. Some students will have very extensive projects that require a lot of effort and time and possibly money, and other students will have very simple projects. It just depends on what they want to do in terms of applying their skills. Curriculum and credit. So the first year a student takes floral design, they get fine art credit for graduation and for CSU UC college entrance requirements. If your child has the potential to be an NCAA athlete, or if they are going to go out of state or to a private school and they're counting on this to be their fine art, they should definitely do some research and make sure that floral design will work where they're headed. We can only guarantee UC-CSU acceptance. Advanced floral design is for students who take the class for 2 years and 3 years. It qualifies for elective credit for graduation and then also elective credit to get into the CSU UC system. Again, if they're looking for elective credit for a different kind of college outside of California, they should definitely do some research. When your child enrolled in floral design, they automatically became a member of the FFA in California. That's how California works. So, communication. We have 4 teachers who work in the agriculture department. Mrs. Sawyer has moved on to Rio Linda High School, which is much closer to her house, and we were able to hire Miss Friedman. Miss Friedman is a graduate of Ponderosa High School and an FFA alumni from our program, so we are very excited to have her, and you can see what everyone is teaching. Monday memos come through Parent Square every week, and I believe we're on our 5th one. So if you have not been receiving Monday memos, that's really our best method of communication in terms of dates, FFA activities, fundraisers, ways to get involved, SAE projects. That's all going to be in the Monday memo. So if you're not receiving it, please let us know. You can also find our chart of responsibilities as teachers in the Monday memo, and so that shows you what each teacher is in charge of in the program. Hands-on learning does take money, so I have to take a moment and talk about this. And you might be saying, I'm a taxpayer, I already gave money, and you're absolutely right, so did I. We do get funds from the state through the Ag Incentive Grant. That's our major supply budget. Some donations from parents or community members, and then we do apply for some other grants in the community that keep our kids designing. But those funds are generally used up within about the first quarter, by the middle of October, because we're trying to get your kids so many skills and do that in hands-on ways. So then we have established Ponderosa FFA Floral, which is our club, our ASB club. And we have all these ways that we also try to keep money coming in. And I'm not sure this is a bad lesson for our students. I think it's a good lesson. This is business. In order to keep designing, we have to keep having money come in. We do treat this a lot like a business. So we have a Flower of the Month club. We do designing workshops sometimes on Saturdays for adults. We have a Plant of the Month club. We'll do a holiday wreath sale. We work a lot with ASB and the leadership class to do events here on campus, like flowers for homecoming royalty and centerpieces at the prom. A lot of sporting events and teams. A lot of teams will come to us and ask for senior night flowers, that kind of thing. And then, of course, if someone comes to us from the community for a dinner or a wedding, something like that, we like to do those events, and those help our students to get those hands-on skills. So here's what I see so far. Your children are willing to try and fail, and that means they're also willing to learn. You cannot learn floral design perfectly the first time. You have to make some mistakes and fail, and so far they've been such good sports at trying new things. I'm really impressed with them. I'm seeing all these emotions here in the middle, and as they get better, I think they have more and more fun, and hopefully this becomes a stress-relieving part of their day. Even if they don't want to do floral beyond this year, I think it does make most students pretty happy. And finally, I want to thank you, because we are seeing young people who really care about what's going on in our community. Of course, it's a hard time in our county. We sold over 100 peace lilies for our plant sale that will benefit the Caldor Fire Relief. Students brought in donations of water, sports drinks, snacks. They're selling flowers and plants of the month to help support our program here, and some of them have helped with our evacuated animals that have been at the farm. So you've sent us some really great people, and all of the ag teachers are appreciative of that. And I will just close this out showing you some of the designs that our students did in recent years, just because that's a good way to end our little talk. If you have any concerns or questions as the year goes on, please feel free to contact me. And thank you so much for being here tonight.